Welcome to This Week in the NFL Week 15 edition. Get ready for some garbage. For whatever reason, Kirk Cousins seems to own the Bucs, going 3-0 since he joined them, and pretty much cooking them every time they play them. I am very interested to see what happens when Tampa finally plays Carolina next week. At this point, I don't really care about the Browns losing. I just want Myles Garrett to have the sack record. But man, oh man, do we need to find an offense sometime soon. I'm not super interested in our games being either snooze fests or blowouts for the rest of time, you know? For one reason or another, Minnesota needed Cleveland to win this week. You can pretty much guarantee their season was over right then and there. Don't ever trust Cleveland to do anything ever. The pipe dream that the Bengals had to take the AFC North at the end of the season is now closed off. If anyone wants to stop Aaron Rodgers from winning the AFC North division title, it'll have to be the Ravens. Remember when this was once the most frightening division in pro football? Because I sure do. Man, this was just a really sad way to go out. I knew people jumping on the bandwagon was super dumb, but I never expected it to go south this fast. Just pull the handle and flush this team already. I can't bear to look at this tragedy anymore. Way to make your opponent look like they belong in another level of football, Jags. 6 passing touchdowns by Trevor Lawrence. Most complete game of the season offensively for the Jags. 28-point blowout win. Have I mentioned that these guys don't have the worst shot in the world for the number 1 seed? I am very interested to see how this squad does in the playoffs. You know, before they move to Orlando. Well, it took nearly the entire season to do this, but the Patriots may have finally been revealed as schedule merchants, blowing a 21-point lead to Buffalo to keep themselves from getting the AFC East title and a playoff berth. I really want to see these two face each other in the playoffs now. Their season's over, people said when the Texans were down to the Jaguars by 19 points. There's no way they're coming back and winning, especially with their backup quarterback. They came back and won with their backup quarterback. It's alright, people said. They'll get exposed by the Bills. Their season's over anyway. They won again. Well, even with CJ Stroud returning, people said, they're going to fall apart against the Colts. There's no way they win. The Colts are just too magical. They won again. Perhaps the Chiefs can beat them, they say. They're just too inevitable. They won again. Whatever, people say. They won't look like they make the playoffs in deserving fashion. They won't win convincingly next week. Guess what happened? The point is, the Texans don't care about your narratives, and they don't care about your storylines. They just win. It's all you can ask for from a football team these days. One thing I've never mentioned about Kansas City is just how broken their offense looks. Their defense is trying their best to hold on to the game for as long as they can, but that offense is just too unworkable this season. Even then, Patrick Mahomes still has one more chance to try and prove himself worthy this season. But then, he never got the chance. An ACL tear knocked him out of the game. Gardner Minshew had to come in, and yeah, it was pretty much over once he came in. This isn't 2019, Chiefs, nor is it 2024. This is what happens when you don't have wildly good luck on your side every game. It's actually happened. Due to an extremely specific set of circumstances, the Chiefs are bounced out of the playoffs. I actually do not feel good about this because, well, Patrick Mahomes got injured. What else are you supposed to do there? But I know anyone who watches football, minus anyone who lives in the Heartland and Swifties, will be very, very happy about this. Get flushed, Chiefs. Something really wrong would have had to happen for the Eagles to lose to the Raiders of all teams. Luckily, Vegas was just way too broken to have the unthinkable happen. Philly will just cruise to a free win this time around. They still have 2 games against the Commanders remaining, so if they blow it, the NFL world will never let them hear the end of it. It's never fun to watch a game that's completely meaningless. It's even less fun when that team had higher expectations for the season. Winning should soften the blow a little bit, though. Or does it make it worse because you ruined your draft position? At this point, they're probably just numb. A 26-year-old rookie might actually be the Saints' future. And he just ruined the Panthers' hopes at first place in the NFC South for now. All whilst making many, many laughs in the process. For kids, never give up on your dreams. It turns out the Rams are so good, they are now getting a little assist from the refs. Who knew? Let's not talk about that Seattle escapade yet. That has to be saved for next week. As for Detroit, sadly I think they're out of the playoffs. I hope Detroit doesn't fumble their core, but then again, it's Detroit. Everything gets fumbled here. Finally, we get one of these. The Rams have officially punched their ticket to the dance with this win over the Detroit Lions. No matter how the rest of their season plays out, one thing's for certain. They'll have to be taken down in the postseason. Well, Titans, I applaud you for making it somewhat interesting in the first half. Yeah, the Titans have quietly found the fire and just look like a regular bad team that wants to win football games instead of just being nightmarishly bad like they were at the beginning. Just don't ruin your tank because you want to go out in a blaze of glory, okay? The Colts starting 44-year-old Phillip Rivers just to try and save their season is essentially just them throwing duct tape on their clearly leaking season and hoping it still floats. And it almost worked. I would have absolutely dunked on the Seahawks had they blown this game, but luckily Jason Myers provided just enough offense that the Seahawks never really needed touchdowns. The legitimate stamp had kind of faded out for the Broncos once everyone realized the Chiefs are actually kind of bad this year. So they just decided to stamp another one on top of the old one. As for the Packers, unfortunately, Micah Parsons got injured. So your Super Bowl chances might actually be over. If anyone wants to win the Super Bowl from that division, it's going to have to be the Bears. Yeah, nobody's winning the Super Bowl from the NFC North this year. Sorry. Denver, despite looking fraudulent all season, at the very least gets a chance to prove that they are legit, as they are the second team to punch their ticket to the dance. Make the Super Bowl for content, Broncos. It'd be really funny. Minnesota may have been eliminated from the playoffs already, but that doesn't mean they're going down without a fight. They still gotta train J.J. McCarthy for the future, you know? In the process, they knocked the Cowboys' playoff situation down to win out and hope Philly loses out. I'm curious to see how the Vikings do next year. Well, not a lot to say here other than 9-8 is still the standard here at Pittsburgh. I have to beg the question though, what happens when Aaron Rodgers leaves and retires for good? Does Will Howard keep the Steelers' winning season streak alive? Or do they have to go through the process of tanking for the first time ever? Only time shall tell. The exact same set of specific circumstances that mercifully eliminated the Chiefs have also eliminated the Miami Dolphins. Man, and I thought this team was worthy of wasting a brain rot meme on. Get out of my sight, you tire-spreading franchise, you. This has been my longest video about the NFL in a good while. I am really enjoying this break that I'm getting from college. Well, anyway, here are 3 things that I learned this week. Number 1, this is the year of parity. Nobody looks like a super team, and there are 8 to 10 teams that I can argue for being legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I am really excited for the NFL playoffs this year. Number 2, the NFL is really fun this year. But isn't that kind of the same point you just made earlier? No. Without an easy franchise to hate on, the NFL's likable characters have started popping up again, and now they have a real chance to win it all since the Chiefs aren't dominating the AFC anymore. And the Eagles aren't nearly as dominating as they were before. And number 3, the Bills' time is now. Remember all those years where you say you would have won the Super Bowl had the Chiefs not been there every time? Well, now's your chance to prove it on the field. If you don't win it this year, you will never ever live it down. Well, that'll do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, ring the bell, and don't forget about John 3:16. And I'll see you next time. Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. And let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame. Now he is seated in the place of honor beside God's throne.